Ah. Okay. Okay. Oof. Everyone had a nice day. Hope. You know what? I should have made tea. Definitely forgot to make tea. Damn it. Yeah, pew pew time. Um, uh, but we have some glorious meltdowns right now because I feel everyone just suddenly remembered what is going on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know there is this thing to say that, you shouldn't like throw insults around and everything, but like, there's this thing I feel when you go online, like on certain websites, it's Reddit. With mainly talking Reddit and certain people on Discord that come from Reddit. I think drinking paint by the gallon is just like the pastime. Because otherwise I cannot even explain anymore what the fuck is going on. So, basically, for everyone who wants to know what currently is going on. So, a few things happened in the battlefield sphere since yesterday? Basically, yesterday. Yeah. There was a slight, I don't want to say meltdown, it's just, oh boy. Basically, if everyone who doesn't know, since launch there was this like big screaming for like, oh hey, we need big maps. Personally, I wasn't really part of that. Like, I want good maps. I think there is a valid thing that a lot of the maps are safe, and I think they keep playing it very safe, which is fine, but like, what I hear from people is also that they want to, that they actually want stuff like good map layouts or something. They, a lot of people just want mostly like bigger maps now. Like, when I think of like a big interesting map, I think like stuff like Strike at Krakend, or things like that. And then, so most people know at best Battlefield 4 maps. So what happened over the past month since launch is that people kept screaming, we want big open maps like in Battlefield 4. Let's not forget that Battlefield 2 had bigger maps, Battlefield 2 had better maps, but anyway, Battlefield 4 it is. So yesterday, aside with the fact that everything leaked from their labs testing environment, they announced they're going to make, this is the first map coming in Season 2. It's going to Germany! Yay! Home turf! Down to Bavaria. Actually, it looks actually pretty cool. Like, military base in the mountains. It really looks good. It's simple, but, bigger map. it has tanks, etc. It's a good one. Like I'm not gonna complain about that. So the thing is, this is what they announced is coming. There's gonna be more. Apparently, there are gonna be like 3, maybe 4 maps next season, which is fine. It's gonna be operations, which is gonna be really cool. Like, I know one person, like I think Anna wanted to try, and like if the 3-week falls in with operations, that would just be kind of fun. Because if everyone who doesn't know what operations is, it's a thing they did back in Battlefield 1. Oh, wow. To kind of reflect the whole offensives, the offensives of the Great War, and it was just like, hey, that's a good narrative idea for a multiplayer game, and everyone liked it. And then they brought it back in Battlefield 5, which no one remembers because it was kind of ass in Battlefield 5. Anyway, so the idea was basically that, well, you were playing Breakthrough, but over at least 2 maps, there were obviously some, operations / offensives that had more than more than 2 maps. Like, for example, I think the Arabian one that was actually 3, and you can adjust it in that. Okay, but the idea was this: 1 team attacks, 1 team defense. It's Breakthrough, so you have like flags per sector, and you attack. So the thing is, and that was the pretty interesting part over for operations. You had like 100 tickets in a wave. So basically, you would call this basically a normal round. Oh fuck! Why did you all leave? I could have. It was basically a normal round. So like 100 tickets, similar in like a round of Breakthrough here. When you depleted them, so there's also like an intro cinematic where like, this is what is going up, etc. So like when those were depleted, the second wave is sent in. So basically everything resets, but you start at the part in you start at the sector of the map, the last map you claimed, and you have 3 waves, if it's a 2 map operation, to basically conquer all sectors. It's cool, so basically the main one they introduced, which was like the first one and kind of the best, but there were also other ones, was the Kaiserschlacht. Well, named after, the Kaiserschlacht, which was like the last big German offensive in the war, which, yeah, okay. Basically, you had the whole, you started in St. Quentin Scar, which was like, you pushed beyond the final trench lines and into the towns, into the small towns beyond. And then, if you won that map, it goes into Amiens. So like the big city / train hub afterwards. And that was actually pretty cool. And they had a few of those. I think Oil of Nations. It was like Britain attacking the Ottomans. What was there also? They're like the main, the first American offensive through the Argonne forests and into, the places beyond, etc., etc., stuff like that. And apparently they're bringing that back, which would make it so like, oh hey, you have like the 2 or 3, depending on what they might do with that, California maps. Well, they're now tied to 1 operation. You gonna do? So, okay, cool shit. Let me just put it like this. generally, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fun. I don't know if the next season is gonna be like. I know everyone's like, oh, it needs to be good, or the game is dead. No. People have completely broken understandings of how stuff should work.
Hostiles are engaging objective Foxtrot.
But yeah,
Marked objective is under threat. Defend the position.
so. But basically, then they had two major announcements, okay? And like one is the new map where everyone currently is just like, oh no, it's gonna be a small one again. They literally said it's like the second biggest one in the game. Again, you know what I mean with a straight up paint drinking? But you know, in that regard, I'm like, okay, outrage bullshit. People are just like, they are primed to one message, and now they try to fit that message into every single fucking thing that is possible because, you know, everything else would mean actually sit down and think about what you said. Okay, but you know, then the funniest thing happened because they basically said, hey, and like, I can totally see why they're doing it like that. We're going to remake Golmud Railway. So everyone who doesn't know, back when Battlefield 4 came out, Golmud Railway was the biggest map in the base game. Here's another fun thing. Golmud Railway sucks ass. I am so sorry to say that, but everyone who says Golmud Railway was good has either only played it in Rush, and was actually pretty decent, or just fucking memory hold everything. And apparently, the moment it was announced, a lot of people on places like Reddit just realized, wait a second, Golmud Railway was bad. Why did they bring back Golmud Railway? And I just sit there being like, I don't know. You've been going on for like the past months about the big open vehicle map from Battlefield 4. And yeah, I know that a lot of people are like, oh, they picked Golmud Railway because... Yeah, probably because Golmud Railway is a pretty simple open map to remake. I get that. Totally get that, actually. But also, like... which one would you have wanted more? Because, like, I know some people said, oh, we rather had one of the... Oh, you mean from the China Rising DLC, where 3 of them were abysmal. Yeah, that's the thing. So basically, the big vehicle maps in Battlefield 4 can be, you know, basically summarized. And there's Golmud Railway, which was just fuck off. And then the China Rising maps, which were worse. I'm in awe that apparently it took until the announcement that people realized, wait a second, this wasn't good. Yes. You know what?
Attack support is needed.
Let's just actually open up the browser and show you. Because like I think you can like actually very easily spot like what the problem with Golmud Railway is. If I just put up a few pictures. So first of all, let's go back in. Okay. Yeah, can see that in a second then. This front is just going badly, actually. Holy shit. Okay. So yeah, everyone. Let me just... Let's just make a little game. Can you spot what might be the problem with Golmud Railway from one picture?
Support on the marked objective.
Can you maybe see the problem? I give you another hint from the other side. Can you see it now? What might be the problem with Golmud Railway? It's a map. Oh, by the way, this is a flag. Yeah, there's a flag here. That's it. That's by the way the layout. Just take this one in. You know, flag wise, not really even that bad. It's just wow. It's hard, right? You're like, oh, what could be the problem with this map that is really big and has a central elevation and almost no foliage because it's in the deep in the Himalayan mountains. Frankly, as a bunch of people pointed out, yeah, that actually makes it pretty easy to quote-unquote remake because, you know, you can slap down the original layout pretty fast because, it's a hill. You have some houses on top, but it's a hill. Also, it's houses with flat roofs, so like I mean, if they bring this one into like I don't know. If they, there's not a lot of cover. Yeah. Oh, what's also a very fun thing about Golden Railway? So this was like one of the big, okay, one of the big features. Just so you know, IEDs. Okay, they had this whole thing about Levolution in 4, and Golden Railway had basically two things going for them. You had IEDs, which is like, if you had you had to go to a detonator and push a button, and then a big charge exploded, making a crater. So if you're now thinking, wait, this is the way to get some cover going on the map. Yes. Not a lot of people did it. It was pretty unreliable. Also, the D flag is a train. Like, it's, by the way, this train, if you're wondering, wait, why is it so far away from the central flag? Because it moves. Yep. Whoever holds the flag, it moves towards their spawn. Now, again, I am saying, Golden Railway isn't unfixable. Like, I think from all the big vehicle maps, this is probably the easiest fixable. Like, again, the whole they want to start with it in block out and iterate on it fast. Like, good. Yes, the map needs that. Because, like, sorry. And like, if they give a few trenches, make some of the boulders bigger, and I think the most obvious thing, if they, take it from like I still need to make like a bespoke train model, which shouldn't be the biggest thing, but like, if they actually, reuse Alpine assets and, don't make new ones, they could actually use like also like the houses from the new map that, are not flat on top, because it was all... Yeah, that's the thing. The village at the top, you could level it, which made the area ass. But before that, it was basically, instead of being houses with like, roofs, so you could just look out maybe a few places, like here, they were all flat. Meaning, people just ran up the house and then shot down, having an even bigger vantage point. That's gold. You know what the dumbest thing was, by the way? That F flag at the bottom. Because this was a thing that was on a few maps. And I don't know why they did it like that, okay? Because, I mean, they were in 3, but only like on 4 maps, because it was the expansion. On 4, in 4 they were like on a lot of maps, a bunch of maps, and there's a thing called the M142. Is an artillery truck. So if you look at this fucking map and realize, wait, one team can have a truck and where someone can just sit, capture it, drive back, and fire into the open map with rockets. Yes, Connor, I know. It was so stupid. Like, again, in 3, it was on the 4 biggest maps of the game, only there, and both sides got one. In 4 on Goldwood Railway, it's nope. One team gets it. Fuck you. So one team just had someone with artillery. Again, it's not. This is not an unsalvageable map. And again, the fact no artillery, no one. Oh, you know what? This is currently why I'm talking about the whole paint drinking going on in the Battlefield community, because again, a lot of people suddenly realized that when they announced, "Yo, we're bringing back Goldwood Railway," it'd be like, "But we didn't want Goldwood Railway." And like, okay, but what large-scale vehicle map did you want from Battlefield 4 then? Altai Range? Huh? You really want that? Yeah, like, listen, you want a large vehicle map that is fun to play? Fucking Banda Desert. Armored Shield if you want to. Death Valley. We kinda need some, you know, night maps anyway. They're all good. Battlefield 3 had 4 really solid ones, and then you decide to go for 4. I mean, I get it. As a lot of people, as some pointed out, Goldwood is just one of those that you can just actually make really easily, and you know, they definitely didn't have it on their plan, and then they were like, you know, which map can we use, and you know, which one is a map that people even know, so they pick Goldwood, because again, do you think they remember Banda Desert? And they're probably, you know, reusing some of the newer assets, like, you know, putting it in the Alpine region, etc. As I said, Goldwood is a fixable map. Like, a few things are pretty easy, like, don't let the train move. Don't put artillery on the map. Generally that the vehicles are not so absolutely stupidly strong as before will also help. Add some trenches. Add some, you know, add some trenches, add some bigger boulders, and suddenly the map will just flow better. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be good. Mine still works. Was just very popular, not a bad game per se, but there's decent maps. Yeah, Zavod was good. I mean, there's a reason I'm interested in the new map, because it's basically Zavod and Grappa together, so yay. Again, it's just the whole paint tricking I find fascinating, because it's like, you know, scream for Battlefield 4 maps for months, then, you know, they say, yep, we're bringing back a Battlefield 4 map, and they're like, well, no, not this one. No, you screamed for that, now we're getting Goldwood Railway. It's an endless subscription of paint, that is true. I'm just in awe. Like, frankly, okay? Right now, I'm just looking at the positives. Again, I don't think Goldwood is a map with, from the basic layout, is a map with an inherent flaw. It is large, sure, and most vehicles you would have on the map are already, you know, are gonna be in 6 with Season 2. So you have MBTs, you have IFBs, you have little birds, you know, you have... I'd say Goldwood in its 4 iteration was bad, but as I pointed out, it has a few things going for it. Especially when you look at Firestorm, for example. Firestorm also has more cover now, okay? Yeah, if they put more cover in the new iteration and some trenches, it's gonna be fine. Vehicles are right now not as strong. They want to work on them, but I don't think they're gonna be, you know, the complete bullshit they were in 4. So it's also gonna make it a lot nicer. And the fact they're going to iterate it, you know what? A slight buff is fine. As long, you know, if vehicles end up on the same level as 3, I'm fine with that. Again, the main thing is no moving train, just make it a train crash, bigger rocks, some trenches, and no artillery. And also, as also mentioned before you were here, if they actually use like the Alpine or, you know, buildings and such with like actual roofs, and not just flat roofs, it will already make it a bit nicer because, you know, then people won't just go up in the village, stand on the top of the roofs and just shoot down. It was also just dumb. Oh well. But yeah. Again, it's just very funny how, like, one part is just people going, we don't want Gormwood Railway. Again, what did you want then? Altai Range? I need to ask that, because I'm like, what map did you want? When you talk about the large Battlefield 4 vehicle maps. Which one? Which one? I know someone said they rather had Silk Road, and I asked them what was cool about Silk Road, and they were like, the rock area, and I go, oh yeah, where everyone gets spawn trapped, and it was like, oh, people got spawn trapped there. I'm like, and this is why I know you never played Silk Road. You know the funniest bit about Silk Road is, it could work if they just rotated the fucking map by 90 degrees. Yeah, while, you know, keeping the geometry the same. Just rotate the layout by 90 degrees. And it's apparently still coming. So from what we know, I mean, they still want to make a roadmap, but apparently propaganda is in the client. So don't know if that is still next season. Apparently there's still stuff with downtown going on. Okay. Apparently someone sat down and edited a little bit of the Battle Royale map to make something in Fort Linden, so hey, we get another free map apparently next season. Just, you know, rolled out over some time. So like Bay Area and downtown there apparently. So that would probably be fun. Oh. Yeah. No, I'm just gonna I mean, what did you expect? It's a Battle Royale mode. The best they can do is just repurpose shit. Like, the one thing I'm gonna be interested in is the Fort Linden map going to be integrated into operations, like with the other 2 existing California maps? Or are they actually adding downtown and being like, hey, this is like the operations map with Fort Linden, so, you know, you have like the because you can see downtown from Port Linden, so, you know, who knows? Like, I mean, it's gonna be dead soon, so I don't care, really. Also, it turns out the new faction is actually Pax Armata again, which is why the obvious thing would be one...
Our troops have captured Charlie. Move to attack the marked objective.
Who knows? Like, you know, it's more like, you know, hey, one season should be a Pax faction, the other one should be a NATO faction. We'll see. We'll see what comes there. I mean, apparently we still need to watch out for the NATO MRAPs, so... No, they're currently doing their own thing. And, oh yeah, that still needs to be fixed. God damn it. And, you know, I'm fine. It was more like, one battle pass should be a PAX, one NATO, then another PAX again. That should be the cadence they should have. Not, this season you get PAX, and next season you get PAX, and it's like... Oh well. But yeah, apparently there's a good bunch coming, and it seems fine. Like, I think the only part that I find a bit interesting is the it's the fact that I know why, but everyone, the new season goes to southern Germany, and probably the second map is like in the Austrian Alps or so, or also just in the Alpine region. Like, the thing is, but also, like, okay, Germany themed, probably with a German subfaction, all of that. None of the new vehicles is German. Just one of the new guns is German. Okay. That's a decision. So, by the way, like the new MG is a German one, but yeah. And the other ones are Croatia and Polish. What's the G27 again? No, there is none, apparently. It could be the marksman rifle. Yeah, no, we are getting the, VHS-D2, so operational assault rifle. You know, I like the VHS-D2, but still, we're getting a DMR. And here's the thing. That's actually a very, very interesting, how's it called, idea floating around. Because, like, why did they... It's just a new G28. Ah, yeah.
Our troops are still controlling the fight. The enemy are attacking Objective Alpha.
Yeah, no, we're getting the Grot 762.
You have an attack order.
Which is a Polish one, apparently. So, yeah. But apparently it's made by Steyr, so, you know, it's Austrian. I guess that's close enough. Which kind of, makes me think that, yeah, I think they planned on a different release schedule in the second season. Like, I mean, here's the thing. Okay, so everyone doesn't know. Second season was delayed by 1 month. That is usually... It's odd. But usually, you know, like, okay, why did they do that? So there is this theory floating around. They simply did it to switch around the maps. Which kind of makes sense if you think about they want to introduce operations and where the new map is actually set. Okay, let me put this like this. They probably will have some new stuff, but I think their original plans were 3 maps. One is propaganda. One is, you know, that other just in the files mentioned name subservers, and, well, contaminated. So, why do I think this is the case? Well, you know, narratively, there's this whole thing with, you know, nations leaving the leaving NATO, etc. And like, the only one in Europe that's left right now in this lore is, like, in NATO is Germany. So, interesting that we still are there, but who cares? But also, a pretty crucial thing is that you know, PAX activity is basically fighting in Gibraltar / Spain, and with Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. That's like, that's at the border of Europe, but it's not, you know, there yet. So the thing I think happened is their plan, especially with operations, Okay, because with the beginning of season 2, they're suddenly in, they're like suddenly in, like southern Germany, which is like that's an odd jump, oddly long distance. They just managed to relay troops over. So I think the idea was to have like that the first maps are propaganda, then subsurface, then contaminated, which would make sense, because if you chain those into an operation, it would be like a spearhead assault from Pax Armata, from their best fortified regions, in the Balkans, to like the last European, to the border of the last European NATO nation. Again, it would be, you have like the fighting in the Balkan city, propaganda, Bulgaria, then you go, crossing Alps, the Alpine region, subsurface, probably also with like a lab or everything. And then you end up in, southern Germany. Beeline for the airbase. I think that was their plan. Here's a problem though. Everyone bitched about the map size. So what would happen if you released first off an urban map with just like, I think, 1 or 2 MBTs per side, and that was it? Then probably a small scale, maybe even, redacted affair, because, by the way, all the web, like the VHS and stuff, was also in the season where Redacted came out, and I think they wanted to hark back to Redacted. It's just an idea I have. And also, there's an Austrian weapon, so probably Alpine region, Austrian region, that's that. And then, they hit the big one in Germany. And then they were like, okay, maybe we should start with the German map. That might cool people down a bit. I feel that was the idea behind everything. It's a fucking circle. Like, listen here. If they put out a locker thing, a locker/metro map like Redacted, because Redacted already cracked the code on how to make these maps good. This will probably bring in more people, like anything. That is at least my suggestion, because, like, keep in mind, the moment they actually brought out Redacted, that actually made it, it made it like the biggest season at player record on Steam, so. Oh well. Yeah. At least Redacted was a fun map. They just basically needed to make Breakthrough better on it, and like, wow, that's not hard to do. It probably, I might even go as far and say it's their best.
Move to attack the marked objective.
Like, the thing is, Metro was not designed for that. Metro was not designed for Conquest. It was just fun because it was a dumb idea. Locker tried to be for Conquest, but they are gone. But like, I think Argonne almost is like so wide it's not a narrow one again, but like it's the closest they have. That's true. Would have brought back Argonne. Let's just be real. I would have played Argonne. Modern version of Argonne, that would have been good. Problem is, in a modern version of Argonne, you would have had okay, here's a hot take. If they ever would make a modern version of Argonne Forest, and I can almost see that happening, okay? Because, like, if we look at that map that they are also coming through France, it wouldn't surprise me if there's going to, if the counteroffensive they will have it someday to, reclaim France, will just include some maps that are harking back to stuff like Arras, like northern France, and then, the Argonnes. Here's the thing, though, and I know this is going to be... So I think a modern Argonne forest should have some form of vehicles, and I know this is probably going to be sacrilegious. Let me go through a few things here, okay? So first of all, technically we should have had squad call-ins, but oh, no. Let me cook here. Let me cook here for a second, Connor. Let me cook here for a second, because, and I will point this out, Argonne Forest already had vehicles. Yeah. So for everyone who doesn't know, they were like the specialist classes, and those were basically semi-vehicles you could also attack with normal weaponry. And they had like flamethrowers and shit, so they were literally there to break through enemy lines. This is why Argonne Forest, despite its meat-grinding nature, worked to a degree because you had line breakers. Now, and this is the thing where I'm like, this is where they could do the funniest thing of them all. Because I don't think those vehicles will work on a lot of maps. They can work on Argonne. There I could definitely bring them on a few. So, here's the thing. On one hand, I do think, yeah, they should maybe think about Juggernaut suits. Wouldn't even be too out there, Juggernaut with flamethrower, Juggernaut with minigun, Juggernaut with, riot shield. We all know that. That would just be like one of those, hey, we basically bring some of those heavy firepower to the more close quarters maps. It would be one of those things they could introduce in like a third or fourth season. And everyone would just kind of like it because, like, again, Juggernaut suits. But the specific thing I want to point out about Argonne, and what is my case, is... So if we're talking about the fact that, if we talk about the idea that there could be a counteroffensive, okay? And one of those maps could be Argonne because it just goes back to France. Okay, it would be a really good remake. People wouldn't probably not even be that annoyed by it. So my thing is, have like Juggernaut suits. They would fit in so many maps, but for Argonne specifically, Tankets. I'm sorry. NATO has access to weasels. There would be no better map to bring in fucking tankheads than Argonne Forest. Especially since these things are doing this already in Ukraine. Like, Ukraine has some really, really, thick forest areas that are muddy. And, they like their weasels. I don't know what would be an equivalent, like, it felt like the panhard crab. That one would already be, like, a bit bigger. Could work, though. It's just one thing where I'm like, if they think about it, they could make, like, much more interesting decisions on how the game, presents, old map. And yeah, like, it would just be fun because, like, yeah, oh hey, it's small, it's.
Attack support needed on the marked objective.
Yeah, that's my thing. If they bring back Argonne Forest, introduce tankheads. I mean, there's basically just one tankhead in operation right now, but
The battle is still being controlled by the enemy.
you could get creative.
We are targeting objective Bravo.
I heard you. And yeah, obviously Juggernaut suits because duh. Like, what are we doing here? I'm really only getting the big maps with that move. You know what? Probably going to switch to Breakthrough after this one. Also. Ooh, nice. I really hope they get rid of the sweet spot, though. That is annoying. Oh well. Oh yeah. I had one of those wild encounters in grocery stores today. I don't even know if it's like on the level of Nugget Lady. What are you looking at me like that? Oh, hey, just tired. Okay, yeah, Agone has been, like, awake for nearly 24 hours, so, what? You have been awake for over 24 hours?
Yes.
Oh god, yeah, right, we've been awake pretty early yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Girl! Why? Oh my god, you know, I'm scared for you. I know, you want to be like... Why did he shoot me? That should have counted. Yeah, so basically what happened, it's just, I'm going to Aldi today, just bought a few things, so, everything is chill over the weekend, I can make the chili, because, I guess we're gonna do that, marathon, that Neo 2 marathon, so wish me luck with that. And the thing is, there was this one woman with her child, and that child was coughing like it's dying. Like, you know, the whole, you know, like when someone coughs like their lungs are coming out? That kind of cough. And so people like just, you know, were avoiding the child, obviously. Also looked at it because they were like, this, yeah. It genuinely didn't sound healthy. And then that fucking woman just snapped at them and be like, what are you staring at my child? Like, ma'am, you brought the disease vector into the grocery store. Like, what is it? Like, oh no, people avoid your child because it's coughing like it probably has COVID or something. Like, what do you think happened here? Leave your child at home. Those are like the worst parents that have to drag their children to everything. I'm just like, I should have science that bioweapons have to stay outside. Yes! Here's the thing. I get when people are like, oh, but not everyone can afford... Listen. I know not everyone can afford someone to watch after their children, especially when they are young. But let me be clear here. There is a time in the life of a child, and it's roughly around the age 4 to 5, where you can leave them alone at home. Because children do dumb stuff, but children, again, they are disease factors, and also, they usually do not want to be that. What we have right now is just a fucking epidemic of parents that need to watch over their child 24/7. And like, leave them alone. Like, you know what was a thing, and like, you know, I grew up rural. Like, sometimes this was just it was just a case of, you know, we were coming from somewhere, and my mom was like, I'm going to do the groceries now, because I don't want to drive twice. And you know what she said to us when we parked? You wanna come with me or stay in the car? I swear, this generation of helicopter parents, they're not only making it worse for the, you know, just like individual development for their child. It's also just like, again, do not bring your children into a grocery store when they are coughing like hell. Like, leave children alone. Leave them at home. Yeah, at least give them a mask. That boy didn't have anything. It's like... I genuinely do not know how we got here, actually. Like, the whole... You know, the whole, oh, we need to watch over our children 24/7. Oh, no, we need now, like, an iron fortress on wheels to protect our children on the way to school. It's like, let them walk. Let them take the bus. They're children. Like... I'll be honest with you. If you don't give children like this freedom to be independent, the freedom to like actually develop skills on their own, you're just going to breed a generation of entitled assholes. And everything is going to be worse. Hey. And yeah, and here's the thing, this is going to be worse. You know what's gonna, this is going to be have a way worse effect on guys growing up than girls, because at some point, you know, girls will just realize that the world is shit and they need to band together and just learn shit. Okay, that's just a thing. Like I think girls just kind of develop information networks on just like how to share stuff, work together, etc. That exists. But guys, again, think about the fact that we already have a lot of just really entitled dipshits that just think people should just you know, wash their asses. Because that's, you know, that's a thing, you know. You know, because, like, I guess their mothers did it, so obviously their partners also need to do it. Just completely emotionally, yeah, how is it called? Dependent and entitled assholes. And, like, again, what do you think will happen if you just keep being, if you just intensify this, you know, watching over children? It's just gonna get worse. Anyway. We have fun thing. So remember High Guard, everyone. The game which where the name is a synonym for Overwatch. Remember that game? So yeah, aside from the fact that it's apparently out next Monday, and I don't know if I want to actually. Oh, it's the game they showed at the very end of the Game Awards, if you remember.
We've neutralized objective Bravo. We're attacking Delta. Move to attack the marked objective. Be advised, the enemy now control more objectives. Let's go! We've begun our assault on Charlie.
Okay. God, this also. Okay. Yeah, the random hero shooter. So apparently, okay, so the shit that happened, and I'm just going to go over this what happened the last 24 hours, and it's hilarious because for anyone who doesn't know, they basically at the very end of the Game Awards they were like, we have one more thing, and it's basically a random hero shooter that doesn't really explain what you do, except that there are heroes, there are guns, and there are horses. And then they have radio silence. It's out next Monday, apparently. You know, free to play, so I don't know if this is like some genius marketing strategy that, you know, people just, I guess, want to find out. Like, I guess it's working for me, but also like, this is gonna be this meme game that you know, get like 1 or 2 friends to play with on Monday. And you play it on Monday. So, here's the thing. So, yeah, what basically happened is they interestingly made a Blue Sky account. Oh, wow. I did not expect them to go on Blue Sky, but they did. Cool. And they started posting about, like, you know, what are you looking forward to the most? You know, with the hashtag #PlayHighGuard. And it's like, and so, you know, people obviously began shitposting because... And here's the thing, I don't even know if this was, like, fake now, because guess what? The account is gone! Yep. Yep. There was suddenly a HighGuard account yesterday on Blue Sky. And in less than 24 hours, they posted a bunch of stuff that actually looked like official marketing shit. And now it's gone. Which is like, have all the shitty paint John HighGuard drawings get them away, or what happened here? Anyway, the likelihood again living longer than 2 months is not that high. I think, as I said, Connor, like, I'm going to do probably, I'm gonna, you know, do the marathon thing for Neo probably on the weekend. That's one thing. But the thing is, I probably will just ask in the server or so if someone wants to maybe join and just, like, try this game. Because, like, I don't know. Like, I'm genuinely a little bit curious about what is going on there. But that's it. Like, I'm just a bit curious. But yeah, so that account started posting and is now lost. And then the fucking achievements leaked on the achievements leaked. So I guess it is real. Because, like, oh yeah, spent more than 77 Vespa at the vendor in one match. And, like, I guess you can you can spend something called Vespa at the vendor. Good to know. Like, that's the most we know about game mechanics. There is something called Vespa, and you can spend it at the vendor. Thank you, I got the Elite Achievement list. What are we doing here? Like, genuinely, what are we doing here? It's just... bafflingly. Oh yeah, right, they added the armored transport to Breakthrough in Cairo, which is neat. So yeah, I'm just like, I don't know, I just have no clue what is gonna go on there. I'm interested. But like, again, this isn't going to be my game. We're like, oh hey, at least I got someone. There's a fucking wall in this room. Yeah. I don't know, it's just going to be very, very funny. Like, for me, you know, next month, Neo 3, that's gonna be a lot. Romeo's the Dead Man, that's gonna be a lot. Battlefield! New season! That's gonna be fun. Gonna maybe get some people in when they have a free week again, so that's gonna be also interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that much of it. Any game that is in the future. I mean, for me, it's more like I'm currently on, like, you know, powering through Neo 1 and power through Neo 1. gonna pull through Neo 2, so it's gonna be a thing. It's like playing Neo 3 is just be like, yeah, kinda should. Romy the Dead Man just looks like, I mean, it's a Suda 51 game, you know? Very much looking forward to that. Did I just hit his head? Ah. Need to get those headshot kills done at some point. Then I will just wrap the recon specialist thing up. Probably. I just like, maybe with someone cheesing it, that would be nice. Ooh, New Subic City.
All squads, begin assault to secure all hostile territory. Third sector is your target. Let's take it. We've taken objective Alpha.
But yeah, it's actually kind of funny to think about the fact that they really only had like the MG5 left to add to Battlefield 6 during the German season, because all the German assault rifles, major assault rifles and SMGs are just already in the game. Yeah. Diana, welcome to, like, ending out a bit after I built grenades, somewhat. We'll fix them up next time. Talking a bit about High Guards that releases next week, and that just is a whole fucking hilarious shit show. It's fine, it's fine. I actually got slight headache due to it, which is not good. And yeah, remember that thing they announced at the very end of last Game Awards? That went radio silent for like until now. Is releasing next week, which is just kind of funny. That hero shooter with the name that's a synonym for Overwatch. Yeah. Yep. Talked a bit about that, how there was like, yes, it's just radio silence. And then they had like, oh hey, here's a how's it called? And then there was suddenly a Blue Sky account for it, which is now also dead. Like, this happened in the last 24 hours. There was suddenly a Blue Sky account for High Guard that had like, you know, your typical, here's some shit that sounds convincing, could be like an elaborate prank, I don't know. And like, hey, post with hashtag play High Guard, what you are looking forward to the most, which people then use to spam shitty paint pictures of John Highguard. And then the fucking achievement list leaked, which is now the most we know about mechanics about the game. I got hi bot. And bye bot. So yeah, very hilarious actually. And before that, we were talking about how people are seemingly, you know, okay. Also, the thing that I do think about marathoning Neo 2 on the weekend, but there is a poll up for that because I do want to actually catch up with Neo 2 before it actually, you know, before Neo 3 is out. I kind of need to just put in some extra hours. Let's be real here. So maybe I just sit down early morning on a Saturday, and then like until the evening, it's like bum 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 bum. Neo time. Maybe like an hour nap in the middle, just so the brain can relax a bit. But yeah. And before that, we had the whole and before that, we had a discourse about how the Battlefield community has, well, the thing that calls themselves the Battlefield community has just like a subscription to Paint. Wait, the first one is fun. The second is great because you can make Oni girls with hot abs. So like, the hot Oni girls with abs. That's it. Very, very good. Also, just, you know, there's just mechanically more going on and all that. It's a very fun game. Very fun, actually. So I've been already been in for a bit, but like, I probably just need some. How's it called? Just some more time to get through like maybe the main story, start a bit the DLCs, and then it should work out, I guess. And yeah, otherwise, the Battlefield community has just Connor said it the best way. They have a subscription to Paint. because they're drinking it by the liter. It is insane. But like, I think the current reaction broke something in people, which is actually very interesting. Yeah, like, but I think I've rarely seen such an intense backlash to a backlash. Okay. Overview, Anna. Basically, since launch, there is a very loud, let's just put it like this, there's a very loud minority that screams that if the game doesn't get immediately content and the exact content they want, it will be dead. Which is insane. The game has like over 100,000 players right now. Oh yeah, they had like an 800,000 player peak at launch, which was insane. Which will probably come back. Again, all the Battlefield games have always peaked later in their lifetime. Like 2042. Like the one that has like had like the worst, one of the worst launches in the recent titles, probably the worst one. Still fucking regained, like took over its player count from launch in season 6. It's like over a year in. Game is not dead. Anyway, so basically, there are some things that need to be fixed, but basically people screamed majorly, we need big maps. They never specified, they're just like, we need big vehicle maps like a Battlefield 4. So then yesterday, the second season, which they delayed, the new map leaked. It's going to Germany, by the way, with Southern Bavaria airbase. Looks great, by the way. Looks really great. So the first thing is that a lot of people keep posting, it's a small Call of Duty map that is just for infantry in close quarters. Which, listen, I know people can say this is just like literally outrage farming at this point, but holy shit are people pissed. Because it's the second biggest map in the game to this point. And it's pretty complex. It has like underground areas and just a lot going on. So yeah, looks great, but also people are like, the fact that people just try to spin it as a small map makes people really fucking pissed. But like, I'd say the one most, I think the thing that sent everyone over the edge was the announcement that DICE, I think this is definitely in a case of they hadn't planned it, they're now just making it, are remaking the Battlefield 4 map Golmud Railway. So here's the thing, Golmud Railway kinda sucked ass. And apparently a lot of people just suddenly remembered that Golmud Railway sucked ass. So after months of screaming, we want big vehicle maps like Battlefield 4, and them announcing, okay, then we are going to remake, then we are just remaking the vehicle map from Battlefield 4. Everyone is like, no, not that one. And it sent, and that reaction sent people over the edge. Like, there is, oh, there's bad blood going on. Okay, the remake can only be better. You know, I did this game beforehand. We can actually repeat it because you're new. So listen, I'm gonna show you a picture, and you tell me if you can spot the problem with Golmud Railway's design. I know this is like hard, but like, I know this is like, there's a lot to take in here, but I don't know if you can spot it. It's very, the devil is in the detail of what makes this map bad. Like, just from the other side, maybe you can see it better. Is this a test? I didn't study for it. Yeah, just like, look at this. What could be the problem with Golmud Railway? A map full of vehicles. What could possibly be the problem with this layout? And yes, the answer is it's it's fucking empty. It's just fucking empty. So frankly, I don't. As you said, it's probably gonna be better, because like they want to have it like even in the blockout version, already in the in their test area, and they want to have people. They're gonna have people give feedback, and like here's the thing. Golmud is one of those maps that just like literally needs some more cover and the bullshit removed. Like, there's this whole thing that one flag is a locomotive on a railway track, and whoever holds it, it moves towards their spawn, which is just like, no, you want a flag that is consistently in the center to fight over. Anyway, that's the thing, and that's Golmud. It was just very annoying and original because oh, the center is like the center two flags are on a hill. Have flat houses, so like flat roof houses, so people can just walk up and shoot down. The moment they replace them with normal, with normal roofs, no problem. The moment, if they add more cover, it will be less of a problem. If they make the railway, the locomotive one, just like a railway crash and not movable, not that much of a problem. The vehicles being less annoying, also better. And again, I don't think they will add it. But like, one of the dumbest things that was on that map, was like, if you controlled the bottom center flag, your team got an artillery truck. So people were just able to shoot across the map that was flat and open with not a lot of cover. Fun. But yeah, so basically the whole everyone being like, we do not want Golmud Railway, just kind of rightfully ticked a few people off. My personal reaction is, oh god, they're doing it. Which is just, yeah, you surrendered to Reddit. Congratulations, dumb idea. But also, they're doing Golmud now. Yeah, but like, here's the thing. I know there will always be a very vocal mass of people that have, like... Here's the thing, Connor. Everyone keeps saying they want vehicle maps like Battlefield 4, so they're gonna pick one. And again, the other options are Silk Road and Altai Range or Dragon Pass. Do you want any of those? I think so. Also, let's just be real, Hanine Resort was worse. Okay, like, a lot of Battlefield 4 maps are bad, but... Yeah, Hainan Resort was worse. Also, as a few people point out, you would need, like, some naval aspect for Hainan, which I guess why they didn't do that, but again, Altai Range... Like, the thing is, they should give them varied maps of tanks, and they will be quite... I don't know what they want. Yeah! Like, again, I do think Contaminated will be a fun one. I think the whole Fort Linden, marina area being turned into map, that's also going to be fun, just having some cover and wreckage just there, and it's gonna be a good map. Oh, just having a bit of an opener, more open thing with like, you know, some tanks on it. That's gonna be fine. Hell, some people even, even made like beach landing onto it. It's not every map, but like I think the layouts are mostly a bit too. The layouts are definitely too samey. We'll see. We'll see. Like that's the thing. Contamination, from what we saw, looks great. Like visually great. Great map areas, great size, great vehicles. It's just a 5-flag layout again with a cross shape. Like, yeah, maybe Fort Linden is gonna be something new. Who knows? Yeah, it's like it's a very obvious, you know, they think they can milk controversy and they're just making shit worse. And I don't know, like again, I think go mode is like it's not bad, it's fixable, and how there's and the fact they say they want to start do it like from scratch with people, I'm fine with that. I'm like completely fine with that. This is the hand we got dealt. This is what we have to work with now. Yeah. But like it's not sensible. It's just I feel like so many. You know what? I'm just gonna say, too many influencers are still on fucking Twitter. Like, let's just be real here. Twitter is the place that really amplified these cesspool, you know, takes. Because if you actually look on anyone normally talking about it on like any other social media platform, it's not the case. Only the platforms where people with money can boost their opinion, like Reddit and Twitter. Like, again, Reddit is just the only moment where you just realize, wait, there's something organic happening is right now, because people are just like fed up with the reaction. And you know, pure rage is overshadowing bot armies. Because like, again, keep in mind for Reddit, you can just buy yourself downvotes. So if you dislike someone, you can just you know, boost them to oblivion and catapult yourself at the beginning. And that's why Reddit is just such a shit platform. If it's any bigger thing, because people just farm Reddit gold there. And if you're now thinking, wait, no, Reddit gold, that is not some weird thing, but like, yeah, Reddit gold actually gives you money. You can make money with your posts on Reddit. And it's a platform where you can deboost people with bots. Yeah, guess what killed any bigger community on Twitter, on Reddit? Just take a wild guess. From what I know, yes. You can make money off of Reddit. God. Oh, not Tumblr. I'm such a noob. Why did I go to university? Yeah, good question. Just fucking go on Reddit, I guess. But yeah, it's just like, then there's this absolute let me just find words for it, like toxic attitude to content in video games. Like, here's the thing. When I grew up, okay? When I grew up, like, if you got a game, that was usually it, you know? Like, getting shit for a game is fun. But, like, I think a few years ago there was, like, one update with, like, 1 or 2, like, community maps, or, like, but here's the thing. Besides from, like, 3 balance patches, when I got Dawn of War Dark Crusade back in the day, that was the game I played. And it's still the same game I play against Agonia today. Because that game has not really changed a lot. They updated it a bit, they made it more stable, and that's good stuff. But the game is done. Similarly, by the way, if you bought something like Call of Duty back in the day, yes, there were season passes, but let's just be real here. 90% of people bought the game and played the same game for like nearly the next 2 years. Base game, Call of Duty. We had Black Ops, and that was it. I actually got the season pass from someone, but didn't kill the game. Most people didn't have that. Battlefield 3. We got our launch game, we got 4 maps, and then, you know, over half a year later in June, they decided, yeah, I think we can make some more ones. And then that was it until Battlefield 4. Content is fun, but people are fetishizing content. It's the, oh, we need content like every few weeks or the game is dying, and then like, what are we doing here? We got like the industry has spent over a decade telling people to be attached more and more and more to games, and in the end they created amount like players that cannot be attached to games. Like, I can guarantee you the same shit will happen with Dawn of War 4. Even if it comes out and we're playing it, and it's gonna be a good RTS for once, with online and everything, people are gonna scream like, where's balance patch? Where's this? Where's that? Listen, I think we actually should sue Riot Games for this, by the way, because I know why they did it. But it bred the most toxic fucking community of all time. And the most toxic fucking mentality of all time. Because, for everyone who doesn't know, Riot Games started patching League of Legends with some major balance changes like every 2 weeks or so. And here's the thing. They're literally just doing it at this point to pretend there's shit happening.
They change things. They change things, but often it's also just for the sake of changing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes they have good changes. Sometimes... But, like, a lot of times it's, as Agonia said, changes for the sake of changing. Like, for example, I think one of the best examples is the fact that they're like, oh, we want to have every hero at like every champion at the 50% win rate perfectly. A thing that's bonkers to even consider, because some champs will have a higher win rate just because they're played a lot more. And then there's you know, a good example is I mean, listen, you can say they know what they're doing, but mostly just because, you know, they change things for the sake of changing, but they also know what they should change, that it's not like, how's it called? Breaking shit. Like, it's all minor stuff. It's just always like... Yeah. And nowadays, everyone wants to get everything fixed, and like, I'm sorry, Riot Games is smoke and mirrors. They're not patching, they have a spreadsheet, and they are changing some values. If people then say, oh, why isn't this fixed in Battlefield yet? And the devs have to come out and say, listen, bitches, finding shit in the code and fixing it is hard and takes time. People just get like, what? That's a problem? It's not just like turning off problem switch? Yes. And now, so just for everyone who wants to know, like, how bad was it? Yeah, I mean, Riot is relatively big in terms of what they design. Like, but like, I think one of the reasons why I liked Heroes of the Storm so much was they had a smaller patch cadence, and they clearly pointed out a lot of times that they just sometimes will not touch certain heroes. Like, I think, how was it? Tazada had like, as I said, 20% win rate. That's bad. Except they were like, yeah, but the few people that really play Tazada dominate the fuck out of everything. So the reason why the win rate is low is Tazada was just a complex hero. That's it.
I still feel.
Yeah. And so they were just like, we're not touching that. Turns out, good decision. Left a very fun hero in the game. But yeah, it's just... this whole, oh, we need more, we need this, we need that, we need everything. It's just such a toxic idea of how games should be supported, because, like, you know, people said okay. You know what I really hate, and like just basically thumbs up the whole fucking clown parade of all time? That people were complaining about a drip feed. And here's the thing. They definitely delayed and put some shit back at the end of Season 1. Because, here's the thing. Season 1 came out 3 weeks after launch. So the game launched, 3 weeks later you got a new map and new guns. Yeah, you can say at this point this was like probably just like that was done before then. They just you know, waited out. But like, again, the game already launched with like 10 maps, and then 3 weeks later here's a new one. 3 weeks after that here's a new one. 3 weeks after that here's a here's a visually completely new variant of an existing map. Also more guns. And you know, more guns, more cosmetics, just more to do, event modes, and just like, in what way is this bad? Because like, I think everyone, you know, who's like complaining about the drip feed, and like, let me just be clear here, okay? Even if we say they want to make 4 maps per season, because, you know, every DLC had 4 maps beforehand that was paid. Okay, let's just say they bring up the cadence and make 4 maps. Everyone would bitch again. Because what would happen is they drop 4 things at once and then nothing for months. So what is better? every 3 weeks something new, for like 12 weeks, or everything at once and nothing for a long time. People will not be happy. They want everything at once and like, that's the thing. The thing people want, from how they behave, is that they want 4 maps and guns every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks. Which is just complete insanity, but that's how they behave. That's just what they're claiming at this point.
Attention! Objective Bravo is under attack.
Oh yeah.
We are engaging Objective Alpha. Attack support on the light objective. Wiped out half the enemy.
Are you going to bed? Okay. The 24-hour mark has finally claimed its victim.
On 24.
Okay. But the day has claimed its victim.
Yeah.
And have a good one.
You can make.
Yes. Not that sleepy yet.
We have secured Bravo.
Everyone was wondering what we talked about. Agonia was awake for over 24 hours now. It's fine that she goes to bed, I would say. Yeah.
Enemy attack is underway on Bravo. Be advised, Bravo has been lost. Enemy forces have captured our position. Get ready to defend the sector.
Yeah, she does that sometimes, so no worries. I will take care of her. So first off, we still have some enemies to kill and some guns to level, so...
Be advised, counterattacking. Hold them here in the fleet.
Okay, Ouroboros is actually a very funny name. Not gonna lie.
Hostile visuals are being reported.
Ah. Yeah, so, okay, I saw how they, especially when they showed, Vi and such, I was like, lol, just punching nothing. It looked, honestly, it looked underwhelming. Like, I know what they're trying, I know this thing basically went through so many iterations, and, yeah, its biggest thing is, like, it's free to play, but, like, it's not really what the fighting game scene wants, you know? Like here's the thing. It's not a bad game, but like the whole point of like people, oh, we need the fighting game that's easy to get into. All of them are easy to get into. Like I haven't played in a long time, but from what I know, like for example, Street Fighter 6 is not as is not, you know, more complex than Street Fighter 4 or 3, and like quite the opposite actually. Like I don't know how easy it is I don't know how easy it is in 6. I just knew in 5 it was like stupidly easy. Okay, just so that you know what I mean. Do you know the Daigo clutch, the legendary Daigo clutch from Street Fighter 3? Because that's the thing. Every time someone comes in and is like, oh, we're making a fighting game for beginners, you're failing at some point. Even if you're coming in with like big brand value, it's more like the problem with fighting games is on a certain level, fighting games are easy to understand. Like you need to learn, you know, extensive movesets anyway, and then you just want those that are like really, really in depth. Okay, yeah, actually just, I think I should just bring it up. Let me just look at just YouTube. So Daigo is like the, yeah, the Daigo fucking parry. Daigo versus Justin Wong, in Evo 2020, in Evo 24. Okay. In HD, damn. So I can go over why this one is so impressive, but okay, basically just take this one in from Street Fighter 3. So this is like the finale, and it's like, you know, Ryu versus Chun-Li. Ken, sorry. Ken versus Chun-Li. And you see Chun-Li is... Just to know, Daigo is Ken because Daigo plays Ryu/Ken. He's like the master at them. And Justin Wong is Chun-Li. Just... Okay, so just so you know what you just witnessed here. Basically, Justin Wong, Chun-Li, yeah, pops, yeah, then you know what I mean. That's the thing with Street Fighter 3. Basically, every kick parried, it is like it's doable, but it's like what you basically did there was just like stunting on someone on the finale. That's like the shit, you know, movies are written about, because it is so hard to just like get every single ulti kick parried perfectly. Again, one of them hits, he would be dead, and he just perfectly parries them. So the thing is, in Street Fighter 5, you can just basically tap the this button. Like in the timing in 5 is so piss easy. You can just basically tap the button in like a very simple rhythm. You're gonna block all of them. That's what I mean. With a lot of fighting games actually got easier. But the thing is, if you notice when I said Street Fighter 5 and such, they're like not even the most played ones. Every single fighting game that actually prevailed over time was one that had very strong mechanical depth in some form. And this is why when I look at 2XKO, it's like, it's 1v1, it's not really mechanically deep, some of the animations are just pretty flat, actually. It's probably not, you know, if you look at it, it's not a bad game, but it's not one of those games the fighting community would want. You know what I mean? That's like its biggest problem, because it's like, oh, we're gonna be a simple game, but like the thing is, the moment you actually get into fighting games, you also kind of want to you know, learn the deep shit, you know? And so there's a big problem for like every single fighting. Like, I think 2XKO is currently just pushing onto the market because they know one thing: Tokon is coming out. And like X, you know, there's the Invincible game coming out, which is like basically from veterans that made like Killer Instinct, made on a budget, but apparently mechanically still pretty good. They are basically also, you know, internally now just giving up because, again, Tokon is coming out. And 2XKO, from what I also heard, is now being rushed out and tries to just gain a platform because, again, Tokon is coming out. And Tokon will probably just, like, drain so fucking much because, like, Tekken, which basically overtook, you know, with 7, the fighting game genre from Street Fighter to a degree, is, well, Tekken 8 is like in a really bad position right now. And Harada left. So, oops. There's no new Soul Calibur. There is, you know, there's no new Soul Calibur. Is, I mean, Street Fighter 6 is currently still running, and like that's the only one, but even they, what I heard, are like, fuck, Tokon is happening. And like, I feel like a lot of people do not understand what kind of a big deal Tokon actually is. Because like, Tokon is this game that was basically pitched by freaks for freaks. It's actually written with tape. Marvel Tokon. The 4v4 Marvel fighting game from Arc System. Oh, okay. I think you're probably underestimating that a little bit. See, Connor, Marvel has like a very long-standing place in the fighting game community. I know, sounds wild, but like basically thanks to Capcom, that's the case. Because like, basically they had the whole thing with, they had the X-Men license, and later they got the Marvel license. Oh my god, yeah, that's the thing. You really missed that? Holy shit, damn. That was pretty big. Okay, basically you need to keep in mind, Capcom basically had like, back then they made X-Men games, and the X-Men arcade games are legendary. Like, they are quite literally some of the fastest, most skill-based fighting games out there. They're really fucking good. Now, what basically happened is, Capcom basically made them, and then they were like, hey, how about Street Fighter versus X-Men? Which then, became Marvel versus Capcom. Like, if you ever wondered how that happened, Capcom had the X-Men license. Then they were like, hey, what about we make, on that basis a crossover with Street Fighter. This is, by the way, where the tag team mechanic came in. Then they made Marvel versus Capcom, which then went into the 3v3 tag team mechanic. And now, well, okay, so the last Marvel vs. Capcom game kind of, they brought some old mechanics, but it was just kind of a rush job, or not really that. It was a solid game, but yeah. Basically, though, last year, Sony announced, because they kind of had the right to Marvel games, that they went to Arc System Works, the makers of games like why did I forget the name Guilty Gear for a second? Holy shit, that's embarrassing. Makers of Guilty Gear, and were like, hey, do you want to make a Marvel fighting game? And Arc System Works was like, fuck yeah. And then they were like, okay, what, make it the most Arc System Works Marvel fighting game ever. And yeah, that's how we got 4v4 fighting. Let me just, fuck it. Marvel Tokon trailer. Let's just go through that banger again. But yeah, here. It's fucking Axis. Yeah, you know what I mean with everyone just suddenly got cold feet? Yeah, like, here's the thing. Oh, you want to have, like, a bright and colorful fighting game aesthetic with, like, you know, uh, and, like, what basically, yeah, this announcement was basically just like, hey, we're bringing back, like, one of the missing fighting game series since the, like, I think there wasn't really a dedicated Marvel fighting game since the 90s. And again, those arcade games are legendary. Those are like one of those, you have to play it once in your lifetime when it comes to like, you know, if you're into fighting games, play one of the X-Men games at least once. And then again, Axis just comes along and it's like, look at the fucking style. Look at our it's buy to play, yes. Which, you know, is not really a problem with the fighting game community. But yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing I think a lot of people always forget. They're like, oh, we need to make stuff like RTS and such more engaging. But like, no. I think, again, there's a paradox with RTS and fighting games, and it's the fact that when you want to get into a genre that is a multiplayer genre that is already complex, you want to have really complex entries, because the basics of a fighting game are always easy. Like, if you play something like, even if you play something like The King of Fighters, which is like pretty much prime 3v3 tag team fighting games. That's the SNK series though. That's one of those, you will get how it works fast, but will it act like, that's the thing. Getting into fighting games, easy. Understanding how to build and you know, order troops, easy. And even like basic functions, easy. You know, build orders, etc. Not his. That's easy. The problem is when you want to make such a game is the moment you try to get onto that, you will dumb down the game and remove, you know, basically the depth and longevity that people want from that genre. And that's the thing. Tokon? Like, Tokon is the thing that everyone just realized, basically just showed everyone their mistake, because like, oh yeah, we want just a simple 1v1 easy thing. So here's the thing. Let me just propose this. People start 2xKO. It's good. They slowly get into it. They try another fighting game. They will switch. Like, again, if you actually get into fighting games and you want to play one of them a bit longer, which one will you play? The one where you have where you have reached a mechanical ceiling very, very fast, or the one where you you know, you can actually pour in hours to perfect everything. And that's actually an interesting thing if you think about it. Because what I just told you is the reason League of Legends works. Like, okay. League of Legends, and I will be very honest here, is to a degree a simplification of Dota. But it isn't. Okay? Have a good night. See, Dota is janky. And League kind of removed a lot of that jank. Like, you know, unifying inputs, making, you know, making the whole how do you learn and, like, what kind of heroes will be designed and how they are readable made that a little bit easier, because just like, you know, those sort of things. But the reality is, League of Legends is still a pretty in-depth game when it comes to mechanics. And if you think about it, a lot of MOBAs just fell off because they were just simply piss easy. There was nothing for you to learn. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why League of Legends stays. Like, hell. My main was, or you know, if I ever go back, is probably still Shen. Shen is actually a relatively simple character, but how you use Shen in the moment to moment decision making, so much can just make or break a whole match, and that's fantastic. And it has, you know, some heroes, like some champions in League that are very simple, and you will probably have figured them out quite fast. That's obvious the case. But the reason that keeps you going is the fact that these simple heroes can actually, like Garen, can coexist to a degree with the complex ones, and people want to play the complex ones because those are the most fun to play. The thing is just, this works like especially well in League, because it's still to a degree a stat-based game. Like, if we talk about simplistic design in fighting games, I mean, do you really think it gets more simplistic than fucking Ryu? Like, the thing about Ryu in Street Fighter is relatively slow, relatively impactful single punches. You have a simple projectile, and you have an uppercut. That is really simple. But as you saw, you can actually still get a lot of leverage out of a simple character. But the moment you have like a lot of input chains, etc., complex characters actually start to become more desirable because they usually have like a higher kit to outplay your enemies. And yeah, I would say Street Fighter is still probably like pretty much a perfect beginner fighting game to a degree. Like, you can play an old Street Fighter and it just clicks. It will just click. They're really well designed. But again, people want to play the complex shit at some point. So, yeah. Similar to, you know, how just you run and shoot in FPS games has to still be like made with, has to still be cut out with like, okay, how, for example, do grenades work, so that you can have something to actually learn, like different gun behaviors, different maps to actually learn the intricacies and flanking routes, etc. Like, that's one of the things I'm doing. Oh. I just actually misclicked. But yeah. Hey, people still play Dota, and Dota is jank. Apparently people still gaslit themselves into playing Deadlock, even though Deadlock is mid as fuck. The thing is, as long as you have like a relatively high skill ceiling, people do want to come back to your game to a degree and want to keep keep learning how it works. That's the reason why fucking Counter-Strike, a game that is I think if there is one multiplayer game that is solved to a degree, like, I mean, the irony about fighting games and MOBAs is that, you know, to a degree, they are solved on paper. But, you know, execution, similar with Counter-Strike. Yes, technically, how you play Counter-Strike is solved since 1.6. But executing Counter-Strike, that's a different topic, you know? And also, fun thing, like yesterday I watched someone play Valorant because, you know, I know them. Just looked in, you know, watched by, and it's sometimes funny when, you know, people, you know, do the weird decisions in these games where, you know, it's like, oh yeah, this is usually what you do, and then, you know, you know, she went into an area where like even I knew, you know, most people are not, and then there was just someone staring down that corridor, and it's like, why were they there? Someone in the enemy team apparently just made the big brain call. Yeah, if a game has depth, people want to learn it, and I think that's also why, from what they announced, they wanted to make it really simple, yeah. Like, I think the original proposal was, like, to only have, like, 2 buttons in terms of input, and I know why that probably went... I don't know if that's still the case, but that probably went out of the window fast. You know, I will say probably the people that decided, on that probably just... Okay, let me put it like this. I think League of Legends is only good because of one thing. The original team tried to copy, Dota as close as possible, just, you know, with the least amount of jank shit. Like, that was their plan for LoL, you know? That worked. Now, fast forward, and they think, oh yeah, because we, you know, made the simpler version of Dota. You didn't. You made the accessible version of Dota. There's a big difference between simple and accessible. They want to now make the simple version of fighting games, the simple version of card games. Because I will tell you, the CEOs of that studio have no idea about design. They, cut all the weird crap of Dota 1, Connor. This game was out way before Dota 2. Remember that there was a mod. And yeah, the thing is that it was the main thing why LoL was popular. You know, it kind of just cut a bit of the crap. It made it, you know, it was just a thing you could download. That was that. Simple. And then they just went and were like, let's have and then they put it out on the market as fast as possible. That's why LoL got big. They were just fast on the market and, did some good changes. Yeah, and the thing is just, I mean, what can I say here? They just had no idea what their game was, why their game was popular, because the people that formed the, you know what, I'm gonna just shit on them a bit. The people that formed Riot were not designers; they were tech people.
Thank you.
And making something technically better, well, that's in the literal sense, that's not bad. That's good. You still need tech people, but again, they had no idea about design, else they would have just realized, wait a second, we should make the sicker version of everything.
Thank you so much.
Here's the thing. Aside from Blizzard, and there's something that happened here with Hearthstone that is just like people realized at some point that Hearthstone was just kind of crap and basically just pushed by people that, don't really play card games, and also it's just random as fuck. And people were like, oh, but that's the good. The thing that happened to basically all collectible card games, people discovered Magic the Gathering. Think about that for 1 second. All of those digital card games try to make things more simplistic, better accessible, we can patch them, etc. And the moment people realize, started Magic the Gathering, Magic Arena, they switched. I think the only other card game that currently sees some form of growth besides, Magic the Gathering, they piss people off currently with the Fortnite-ification, but that's a different story. It's just nearly all the online collectible card games died. Valve tried their hand at it. Blizzard was still the most popular, but again, you don't hear about Hearthstone anymore. That shit's dead. Valve tried their hand. Riot tried their hand. They all tried their hand. And the irony is, at some point, people tried with Magic the Gathering because they just kind of wanted to see what the quote-unquote grandfather of the genre was all about. And the two big ones that are going strong in the online sphere right now? Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And you probably would not expect to hear fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Make a return, but here's the thing. Magic Gathering is a fine-tuned, in-depth system that just works. And people keep trying to critique it, but the reality is they usually never come up with, they come up with systems that on paper are better, but in reality are just not as fun. And yeah, so people keep playing Magic the Gathering.
Thank you.
And then And then you're like, hey, but how did people get back to Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, Yu-Gi-Oh started coming out with an online card system. People tried it out, and remember when I said, you know, fighting games and RTS should be games by freaks for freaks? Yes, so this kind of goes for card games as well. And Yu-Gi-Oh is like the freakiest fucking card game of all time. Because, like, you kind of, like, it's a card game that where you optimize around 2-turn kills and warding off 2-turn kills. Like, there are people that have, like, a weird shuffling mechanic. Like, there are legit decks out there for Yu-Gi-Oh! Where people have cards that just shuffle in a certain way through the deck so they have fucking Exodia on their hand. You know, Exodia. The thing that if you have all cards on your hand, you just win the game. Yeah. So yeah. Take a guess. Hey, wait, those games are still popular. It's not that hard to guess, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I think there are just some genres where I think people completely underestimate that people want the sicko shit. Like, there's a reason a lot of people still went back to, you know, Diablo 1, Diablo 2, because, like, on some level, those games still had more crunch and depth than most. It's just cool. Hell, Diablo 1 still had light as a factor. But yeah, this is just why I'm like, I don't think this will, like, end this well for a bunch of them. Anyway, thanks everyone for just actually tuning in and being here. And a bit longer. That should be fine. Have a wonderful night. See you all tomorrow for Victoria 3. And yeah, we're gonna finish the grenades next week. And then probably there's gonna be the Neo Marathon on Saturday. See you around. Bye!